Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Rodeo Ramblin podcast.
And imagine that, we're on the road again.
That's how we do. I am your wonderful hostess, Amanda Dilworth with Western Edge Photography.
And I am your co-host, Mr. Fred.
AKA Freddie.
Amanda does it all.
I do. No, I don't. Like, you're the production manager of all the things. What are we doing?
Well, we are driving across Wyoming. We set up camp in Big Piney over at the, what's our fairgrounds called?
Sublette County
Fairgrounds. And we're going to go spend the day in Jacksonville, Wyoming and have an adventure.
Yeah. Yay for adventures. Where were we last week?
We got the wonderful privilege of spending the week in Cedar City, Utah at the Utah Junior High Rodeo Association Finals.
Yay. So, what was that like?
Well, it was a little different for me. Instead of being a card runner and cheerleader, I got to run the booth. All converted over to Mac, so that was a little bit of a learning curve, but we got through it rather well.
Yeah. And what else did you get to do?
What else did I get to do?
Yeah.
I got to take some photographs at the rifle shooting. So I went up to the range, I was the photographer, and captured all of those moments.
It's only a matter of time, guys.
You got to do the queen stuff.
Yep.
So
he's a man of many talents. And one thing that I do appreciate, and I've said this to you multiple times, is just how willing you are to learn all aspects of the business. Like before it was like the strobes, and now it's the computer stuff, and now we're like stepping into the camera stuff, because honestly, like I'm only one person and a different set of eyes and a different set, a different camera out there, different perspective. Like it doesn't hurt like at all,
Well, we did make some upgrades and some investments in the business over the last week.
What was your favorite? There's a couple that are probably your favorite.
I don't know what my favorite is. We're going all back, so Chase down in Texas has encouraged us to get a Mac Mini, so we got that on the way. And then I've been wanting to consolidate all the equipment into some of those Milwaukee pack outs, so I was left unattended at the store and came home with a bunch.
My bad.
And after I came home with a bunch, you liked them so well, we went back and got a few.
Yep. So we got a stack for all the strobe stuff and a stack for all the booth stuff, and it literally gave us so much more room in the bed of the truck.
It's easier. We don't have to unload the entire bin to do what we got to do.
Yep.
Multiple compartments. It's easy to grab what you need. There's a lot of things to it.
Yeah. What else did we get last week that showed up just in time for us to get to Wyoming?
We have invested in Starlink because the internet is not reliable at a lot of these venues. It'll be good here in Piney, but Heber kept dropping. I was having trouble getting iMessages sent, and telegrams, and all the things I needed.
It was really
upload.
Slowing our operation down quite a bit.
Got that. We tried it out last night, watching a movie, no buffering whatsoever, which sometimes is not the case using the hotspot on the phone or the regular hotspot.
Yep. So
lots of big things to make things go smoother, get parents their photos faster, just make everything more efficient.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of the junior high state finals?
It was a little different because I didn't see very many of the parents come to the booth because they all ordered off our QR code.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know if I mentioned this on any of the other episodes, but before we left Burley back in April, I went and invested in printing up what I do, like 1,200 little 5x7.
For this one, we've done it already at the
icebreaker
between high school, junior high, and
Idaho High School.
Yeah,
it was like 1,250 or 1,200. 1,200 little 5x7 cards that have a QR code that says scan here to order your photos. And the thing that surprised me the most, which it shouldn't have surprised me, was just how popular it was. I have my QR code set up to where it tells me how many scans we get like throughout the week. And when I got the email yesterday, we had over 67 scans. 68 scans on those QR codes. And judging by the amount of orders that we received through the Square store, probably 90 to 95% or even 98% of those scans actually completed the order form. So the thing that I appreciated was it quieted the booth to where you guys could actually get things sorted, get things uploaded, and get it sent.
In the middle of the day. We didn't have to wait till everything was done and everybody's
and people weren't bombarding the booth. Like, we'd have a few that would come and order, and you figured you did like what, maybe 10 or 12 orders
less than 10
at the booth, which I don't even mind, you know.
We had a dozen people come look. That's about what it was.
And I anticipate high school might be slightly busier just because there are some people that want to see what they're going to get. Yeah, it's by like double. Yeah. So
the other thing I was going to say that I was appreciative of is that you reached out to the secretaries at each state, and they agreed to put them in the packets, and they did.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. When Freddie went out and did the rifle shoot stuff, he like grabbed a packet and like checked it, and he's like, oh yeah, they're in there. So
those secretaries, appreciate them.
Yeah, for helping us out. Another thing that I feel like was of our benefit was on May 14th, I opened up pre-orders for junior high and high school, and we had 40 or 50 pre-orders before we even started. I'm not sure exactly how many, but we had a good chunk of pre-orders, people jumping on that. And I had the cutoff for pre-orders at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning as soon as the first junior high performance started. So as those parents were checking in, if they checked in on that Wednesday and they found their QR code in their contestants packet and they're scanning it, they're still getting the discounted rate for the pre-order. You know,
it's a testament to the quality and that what you provide with that many. Saying, yeah, I know we're going to get quality photos and quality content, so let's just hurry and buy it now, and that's done, and we don't have to worry about it because we know that we're getting these quality.
The convenience, these parents, like every parent that I would run into that had already ordered and were getting iMessages from us, they just said, this is literally the greatest thing ever. Like, we opened it up for pre-orders at the last junior high regular season rodeo in Ogden that we did. It was our first event out for the season for our spring run. And we opened it up. We ended up with like 11 or 12 pre-orders that jumped on that. And so, like Haley Woodward, she's one of my PRCA pro girls. She's got a boy in junior high and a boy in 5th and under, so she bought the 5th and under photos and then bought the junior high photos and then pre-ordered for state finals. And we ran into her, I think it was like Wednesday night when we were walking, and she's like, I got thinking, I gotta go buy photos, and then she's like, wait, no I don't, I already did it. And she's like so stoked because she did it a month prior, and she's like, I got an extra $150 I can go shopping with or whatever, so just giving parents that option to kind of spread it out and to take something off their plate so that they can focus on being there for their kid without having to worry about trying to get over to the booth and order, and I even upped the ante just a little bit more. I mean, we had about 150 to 200 little cards left, and so there's 40 stalls in the bathroom, and I went through and taped a QR code on the back of the door in each of the stalls in the bathroom, and I'm like, yep. And I said, if they don't order, it's not because we didn't give them every opportunity, and there could be multiple reasons why people don't order, which is okay. Whoa, man, bro, that's a chick.
So back to your earlier question, because we kind of took a tangent because we were rambling on the
Rodeo Ramblin podcast. That's what we do.
My favorite's the interaction with these parents, or some of these parents that, I mean, I don't even know how long I've known them, and get compliments on the photo booth, on the photos, and even though I'm sitting in there running the booth, not announcing, I'm still getting compliments about my announcing. So just all the interactions and people that know me and appreciate
and we get
what we're doing, no matter the capacity.
Yeah, no matter the capacity. And what I appreciate is how there's so many people out there that are just like, this partnership is probably one of the best that they've ever seen, is what people have been saying. You know,
we have a common goal. We understand where each of us is going. And so even though in some parts we might be going a little bit different directions, like I'm going to announce, you're going to photograph, whatever, we still have that common goal of success in mind. And so we lift each other up and build each other up, and
we want to see the other succeed.
Help I give to you, when I need a little help, you give it to me, and it works instead of
the clashing,
going in opposite directions all the time, and then arguing about it. We communicate about it.
Yep.
We don't have to argue because we know exactly where everybody's at.
Yep, that's for sure. So, maybe I should slow down a little. We're like swinging around a curve here. No, a second ago there was a Jeep that was passing like 2 RVs or whatever, and like haul in. Holy crap! My favorite part about the junior high state finals is I'm with you, just how appreciative people are of us and what we do. And I got a frog in my throat. And on Saturday we had a little bit of time. Well, what?
This is a sharp one.
Yeah, it's a sharp one. We had a little time while we were waiting for them to finish up all the results and everything from the rodeo and wrap up the season points and all that. So I went running over to the trailer to let the dogs out because they hadn't been out for like 5 or 6 hours.
Who let the dogs out?
I did. Oh, I joked for days over here.
Yeah, jokes.
And as I was walking across the grounds, I had a dad. He was giving his horse a bath or whatever, and he hollered at me. He's like, Amanda, thanks so much for that outstanding work. He's like, above par, like as usual or something. I don't know. He's like, I don't know exactly what he said, but it was just funny. He was just like, took that moment to holler, and it really, I appreciated that at the time because I was like so focused on like getting over to the trailer to let the dogs out. Whoop, whoop. And oh, now I got that damn song stuck in my head, honey.
You're welcome.
But it literally like brought me back to like focus, and brought me back to like the present moment that, you know, this is an important time in these kids' lives. You know, I have 2 photos from my whole high school rodeo career, and they're probably some of my favorite things ever. And they're just little 4x6s. And, you know, I'm just like, this is a time in their lives that they will never get back. Like, win, lose, like, whatever. They're, you know, these kids, some of them are all heart. Like, they pour everything they have into this, into getting to state and getting, you know, and being able to try to qualify for nationals and just getting to that next level. That it's an honor for me to be there and to be able to do the same and pour everything that I have into capturing these moments for them. And I told Freddie, I think it's Saturday night, that I felt more on Saturday than I had all weekend or whatever. But
you had some emotions and jitters, and where we were transitioning the booth, and just any of those little hiccups, you were trying to take those on, even though you weren't in a place where you could deal with them.
Yep. So, yep. And I just I just had to be like, okay, I had to let it go and just focus on what I could control. And that was making sure I got the very best photos I possibly could of those kids. And I feel like I did my job above and beyond. I really do. And I like to try, I feel like I can say that because I feel like that's what I do every time I step into that arena, especially when it's a youth rodeo, like doing my job above and beyond just to make sure that these kids literally have the very best photos that they can possibly have, you know. So, and the fact that parents are recognizing that, and I mean, God bless Beth Jennings for every time that everything that she's suggested to level up our stuff, like it's always been one of the best ideas ever.
It's not just that she says it'll change our life, it actually does.
It really does. Like, I think the thing that I love the most about Beth Jennings is that she wants to see people that she cares about be as successful as they possibly can be. And she's willing to do whatever she needs to do to help us and encourage us. And, you know, there's a belief there that I really feel is probably, I'm having a hard time finding words for it, but she just has this belief in me that I didn't have until I started associating with them and becoming really good friends with them. And within the last 10 years, I can honestly say I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of Dave and Beth Jennings. You know, I mean, I'd be doing what I'm doing, but not to this capacity. You know, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I've only known them just a couple of years, but like because of how welcome and loved and everything I feel when I'm with them, it seems like a whole lot longer.
I know. It's just this wild, but you know, it's one of those. I've seen this reel on like Instagram a couple times that says the butterfly effect is strange because, you know, one moment you're doing this and then the next moment it brings you to this. And like that, I resonate with that because had I not had the courage over 10 years ago, it's probably close to 11 years ago now, to send an email to Dave and Beth and just let them know, you know, just reach out and extend that. Like,
desire to work with them.
Yeah. Had I not had that courage to do that, like, I can't even imagine where I'd be right now, you know? So that's one of those.
Or wouldn't be.
Yeah, or wouldn't be right now, right? That's one of those butterfly effect situations that really just kind of blows my mind in a way, you know? So, anyways, there we go, getting all like sentimental and all the things.
Mushy.
All the mushies.
Well, I didn't do high school rodeo. It just wasn't what my family did. I decided to try to be a bullfighter after. You know, and that's where I got my start with things. And then the first people to take me in, Veronica, Phil, and Louie, they were the nicest, made me feel welcome. You know, I did those things. But thinking about pictures, I think I have like 2 pictures, and it's only me and my makeup. I'm not even in my full garb because it was when I got home from an event. When I was working and I hadn't taken my makeup off, so I just left straight from the event, come home, and my mom took a picture. That's the only images I have. I don't have anything of me out in the arena. I don't have anything. I might have one, and I couldn't even tell you where it is with me and my partner Justin Lees that I was fighting with. That like his girlfriend or his cousin or somebody took. I don't even know where it is, but it was grainy, kind of in the dark on an old film camera. So I've got that somewhere in my belongings that I haven't looked in how many years. So
well, and what do we do Sunday? Because I want to circle back to talking about the fields.
Okay, Sunday. Well, a month ago we found out and we knew that Ronk Marriott was getting married, and we got an invite, and it was one of those deals like, hey, we'd love to see you. If you can't make it, we get it, because
it was kind
of people,
and it's kind of short notice because they got engaged in February, and here we are in May. You know,
we had it planned out. We hung out in Cedar City an extra day instead of coming up Big Piney, just so we could drive out there. Luckily, we were able to work it out and have the dogs stay at your brother's house, and so there was no rush and no anything. We cruised out to Grantsville, Utah. It's about an hour and a half drive from where we were, and we were able to attend the ceremony and kind of the mingle and the dinner and just spend time with a lot of people that I don't know who I was anticipating to see there, but when you go and 50 to 60% of the guests,
because you see them at rodeos,
that's a pretty big deal. And we were talking to Bronco before we left. And he's like, it's funny because you see all these people all over, but you rarely see them all in one place at the same time.
That's true, and he's right.
And just seeing judges, and we had a barrel man come, and
JJ Harrison showed up, which surprised me.
With the pickup man, and the pickup man makes sense because he works a lot with Brock's dad.
Bobby Marriott is a famous pickup man.
I was the only announcer I saw. You were the only photographer I saw, but lots and lots of contestants and competitors, friends. We did see the fields. We were sitting in our seat. Veronica walked up, asked me how I was doing. Like she still recognizes me from all the way back in 1998. I've only seen her a handful of times, but that's how great a woman she is, and she just is genuine and has always made me feel like I belong.
I love the story. Like after we left Bronk's wedding, what did you tell me about Veronica Field?
Well, I was not in the rodeo community growing up because my family just wasn't. My dad's a businessman and a pilot. My mom's a housewife. My brothers were on junior jazz and t-ball and whatever. And all I wanted to do was be with horses and be with rodeo and do those things. And so that was my option. They didn't have anywhere to put an animal. They weren't willing. We didn't have the money to do those kinds of things, to get a horse to rope or do whatever. And I figured I could be a bullfighter because then at least I was standing on the ground when I started. I didn't want me to get thrown off. That was always my reasoning. And there was a school that Louis Field put on with Brett Oxborough. It was just there in Spanish Fork.
And Brett still remembers you.
Yeah, Brett still remembers me. I talk to him all the time. We're at different events, Vegas. And so I went out to that and had Marty Mortak as my instructor in the Mortak attack. But all these guys, when we get there, they all know each other, whether it be from Buckaroos or junior high or high school, or a lot of them are in the same communities. And I lived up in American Fork at the time.
Which is essentially city. It's
on the north end of the valley, and these guys were all in Santaquin, in Salem, Spanish Fork, and Payson, and all these little smaller towns at that time down on the south end. So they were all buddy-buddy. I come in kind of as the outlier.
A little bit of outsider.
And get there, and I'm sitting there, and Veronica and Louis, Veronica more so, but she just accepted me in and made sure that I had what I needed and that I felt like I belonged. And that was really what clicked and made it so that I did feel comfortable being there and did feel like I belonged. And then I was able to concentrate and focus on what we were doing instead of worrying about whether these guys like me or not. I was able to go in and save a few guys. There was one guy named Garth, tall bull rider, after we've been doing it a while, and he was out in the middle of the arena, come off, and his bull was heading after him, and I ran out and stepped in and took a good hit. Got him safe up on the fence, but I took a good hit, got stomped on the leg, broke my bones, and tried to jump up and run and couldn't because my bones were broken. And fell right back down, and about 30 of the guys that were there jumped out in the arena and blocked me and the bull. They were going to take a hit for me because they watched me take a hit for them. So just all those times right at the beginning that really, brought me in, made me feel like I belonged.
And your bullfighting career was over before it even really began. Okay?
Yeah, I'd done a couple of things. Yeah, it was over quick.
But that just means that you were meant for bigger and better things. There's nothing wrong with being a bullfighter because there's a lot of what's the word? Honor, I guess, in being a bullfighter. Taking a hit Oh, hey, let's wave. It's Nicole's house. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. But, you know, I feel like that was just the universe's way of like guiding you in the direction that you're supposed to go, because you were supposed to be on the mic and not on the ground.
Took a little break for a little bit. And that teaching, education stuff that I had for a bit. Started announcing some ball games and some smaller events, and here we are now, PRCA card, announcing in the whole Western United States. And
the thing I love the most about that story is just how you said that there was that one person, Veronica, just came in and made sure that you felt welcome. You know, and to me, that's a testament of the fields and what kind of family they are, you know. And it was crazy because, like, at the ceremony at Bronx wedding, you know, they're like, hey, pick up your chair and take it over to the shop. So we take it to the shop, set it down at a table. Next thing you know, here comes Casey Field setting his chairs down. And so we're giving him crap about only packing 2 chairs, you know, getting soft in his retirement. Yeah, so it was just pretty neat to see everybody. And
you mentioned the one, when I started the announcing deal, I went to Chad Nicholson's school down in Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, right there in Texas. Well, there's a dozen people, and we got one guy out of Australia, and then the rest of them are from Oklahoma East. I'm the guy over there on the West United States, and again, nobody knows who I am.
Yeah, because you came from Utah.
I come from Utah, and they're all, you know, Oklahoma, Louisiana. I think there's some Texans. I know there's some Texans. And we had one guy out of New Jersey, but he'd grown up in Texas and moved to New Jersey. And a lot of these guys knew him. And so I get in there, and they've either known or heard about each other. And then there's, who's this guy out of Utah? And the one guy that stepped up, kind of made sure that I felt welcome. Chad did a good job of that, but the student-wise, a guy by the name of Harlan Immel, and he's an Okie from Muskogee. That's where he lives.
Well, what was the connection there?
He's an announcer auctioneer, and so.
But how did you guys know each other?
He was in the class with me.
I know, but prior to the class, no.
That's why I say there's that one person that went in the class, and he accepted me, and where all these other guys, and even him, knew each other, because some of these guys had been in auctioneering competitions together, or they rodeoed in their youth together.
But the fact that he took the time to get to know you and to, you know, and to introduce himself, like, that just goes to show that you guys never know, like, what a little bit of kindness could do for somebody in any situation.
Yeah, you know, and we didn't see each other for a long time, and when Chad passed, and we flew out there, he and I shared a rental car down to the thing. We got there at the same time, was able to catch up with each other and do what we needed to do. So just kind of cool.
I love stories like that. I really do. So it's good. Those were good stories and good lessons for people that probably needed to hear them. That, you know, a little bit of kindness goes a long way, especially in situations where if you don't know somebody, or they don't, or if you notice somebody new, like, reach out, you know, introduce yourself, ask them questions, where they're from, all the things.
And it kind of goes both ways, where if you're not the one reaching out and trying to help them, you need to be open and recognize
somebody that is
that's reaching out to you.
Yep, for sure. So, you know, and you never know, those kind of connections, you know,
the type of connections those are ending up to be lifelong.
Yeah, those are the ones that are going to come back.
We're not having Christmas dinner together. We're not going on holiday together. We're not doing any of that. But if we see each other, or we know that somebody's looking for somebody with their specialty, they're going to be the first ones to come to mind, because we have that connection.
I love that. That's so fun. So, also at Bronx wedding, we ran into Matt and Molly Twitchell. Didn't talk to Matt much because he was visiting with other people, Kelly was
the officiator.
Yeah, Kelly Wardell was the officiant, and did a great job. But I visited with Molly for a minute and let her know that we're on our spring run, and we haven't been home since April 25th, and we're not going to be home until June 14th. And she's like, oh, I love that so much. Like, you have no idea how much I love that. And we got talking about how non-rodeo people don't understand this lifestyle at all. Like, you know, you talk about taking a 2-hour road trip and you're like, oh, it's only 2 hours, and other people are like, oh my gosh, it's only 2 hours. Like, that's so far. It's really not, considering
the amount of people that wouldn't have driven an hour and a half to go to the wedding.
Yep, exactly.
Well, and even some of the high school ones, we were talking with them, and I was telling them, these high school parents, yeah, they're in the rodeo, but some of them are weekend warriors. They work their regular job. That's their only focus until they got to go take the kid to the rodeo down at this town, or over this town, or over this town. They can't wait until finals is over so they can get back to something else.
Yep, and work and stuff. But what's wild about, like, Utah, they rodeo the whole state, and so they don't have much time off. Like, so they'll have their finals in June, and if they make it to nationals, they got to go to nationals in July, and then they literally turn around and start going again 1st of August for the 26th season. So, I mean, if they get 3 weeks off, like, they're lucky. But it's a year-round deal for some of these guys. So,
but not quite like us. They go home in between.
Yeah, they do go home in between, for sure. But yeah, you know, we're just blessed to live that, you know, semi-feral, free-range life that we are. So.
Not as much semi as feral. So.
I told Molly Twitchell that. I said, yeah, we're free range and semi-feral adults. And the other gal that was standing there talking to us, she's like, oh, I'm all feral. I'm 100% feral.
Yeah, she was talking about her corporate job and then going out. Wasn't she a timer on the weekends?
So I don't think she's a timer. She helps the pickup men. Like if Molly's timing or whatever, then Amy, I'm pretty sure her name was Amy. Amy's there helping him swap out horses. Like, she helps Bobby. Like, she pitches in wherever she can. She lives in Gooding, so, you know, that's a rodeo town, stuff like that. So, but
just the camaraderie that we saw at the wedding, and the people that showed up. I mean, we saw Darian Johnson. He rode Texas.
Jumped on a plane and made it.
Got up there. It's not that far. I mean, it's maybe a half hour from the airport. And he came and he showed up.
Yep.
Dean Thompson, they've been out because he's running so hard. They went to Lake Powell to relax. He
jumped off the boat.
Gets up in the morning, drops off the boat, drives all the way there. A little bit of over a 6-hour drive to make sure that he's there to support his friend.
Yep. He comes flying in there just behind us. But, you know, it just, to me, like, I even told Freddie that even if we were at home and were able to go, we would have drove the 3 hours at home to get down there, you know, because like Bronk is the type of guy that he would have done that for us. You know, I'm almost positive he'd do that for us. And, but just to be able to, like, go and see his sister, like, his sister lives in Twin Falls, and she's actually skied with me. She was in my ladies' day group, like, 3 or 4 years ago. And she's just seriously the sweetest gal. And turns out I might be doing her daughter's senior photos up at Magic Mountain in the wintertime.
We'll have a little party on that.
Yep. So, but no, this has been a great little recap. We're so blessed to be able to do what we do and to have the things that we have and to go where we get to go. And I'm excited that, we landed this light green. That's what I'm excited about. We're going through construction in the canyon between Bondurant, Wyoming and Hoback Junction. And it's down to one lane, and we're crossing a bridge at the Hoback River. Like, the river is flowing. Like, it's dirty and it's flowing, but I was coming up and I was seeing that we were coming into some construction, and there was a whole line of cars, and we didn't even have to stop. Look at that. The universe is, like, totally taking care of us. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were heading in to Jackson. We were a little bit worried about the dogs. We weren't sure how long we were going to be. We didn't necessarily want to leave them at the trailer for 7, 8, 10 hours. And we don't want to leave them in the truck somewhere and they can't go up. We're gonna go up.
We're gonna go up and ride the
tram.
tram at Jackson Hole.
And the dogs are not welcome.
Yeah, we looked it up.
Trying to figure it out. So we found us a pet sitter that they're going to take care of them for the day. A little bit of in-home boarding where they're getting a little bit of one-on-one interaction with an individual rather than being in some kennel facility. And so we have an appointment to meet them about the time we're going to get there. So that's good.
Yep, running right on time. So I was grateful. That's why we hit that light green, because our ETA is right at 10 o'clock, which is when we're supposed to drop them off. So, but no, this was a fun little recap. We're in Big Piney, Wyoming this weekend doing the Yeti. This is the 8th annual Yeti Classic.
How many times you say it's been in Piney?
It started in Piney and it's been here 6 times, because I think she moved it to Rock Springs for 2 years and then brought it back. But I've been the official photographer since its inception, since it started, and
I've only been in now through a few years, but they really love and appreciate me being here. So
I feel like it's leveled up the whole production. You know,
we're gonna run the live stream.
Yep. So
our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're playing catch up. So I'm gonna try to get this episode up soonish. I still have the last episode I gotta get up.
Might drop 2 at the same time.
Who knows? Might as well just throw it all up there and spam everybody. So if you guys like our podcast, like our YouTube videos, make sure you subscribe, share them with your friends, and I'm going to try to remember to take some content while we're out on our Jackson Hole adventure today, so that you guys can see what other kind of cool stuff we do besides just drive around in the truck.
And announce and take photos.
So thanks so much for watching, and we hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you on the next one.
Have a great day.
Now, Corbett's is a 10-20 foot drop into the couloir, depending on the conditions.
Look at that, Ozzy.
But every year we do hold Kings and Queens of Corbett, which is a competition where athletes around the world they build a jump on top of the couloir, which allows athletes to jump 70-80 feet into the couloir, doing tricks such as double backflips, 1080s, etc, etc. You can see our famous Corbett's cabin on the left-hand side. It's notorious for serving waffles at 10,000 feet. I'd highly recommend you give a waffle a try. Other than that, please admire the views, the scenery around. You have to stay as long as you like. A tram card does come every 15 minutes. I'd recommend coming 2-3 minutes before, because we run a tight schedule. Now,
What kind was that one?
Nutella.
Nutella. That's the Italian waffle. To go along with your double Irish coffee.
Yeah, I'm European today.
Thank you for listening to or watching the Rodeo Ramblin' podcast. Follow us on Instagram at rodeo_ramblin_podcast or on YouTube at rodeo_ramblin' podcast. Please subscribe and share with all your rodeo loving friends.